Hello, and welcome back to Invitation to Puzzles, where today we have a full deck and missing a few cards puzzle, which combines Kropki and German Whispers. There's a link down in the description if you would like to try it. Let's go ahead and try it ourselves. So let's go over the rules first. So remember, the digits separated by a white dot need to be consecutive, so these could be 6 and 7. Or they could be 7 and 6. The white dot's not picky about the order they go in, just that the two of them have to be consecutive. Note that this is a Kropki pairs puzzle, which means that it's okay if I put a 6 next to a 7 without a white dot between them. It's not that I have to have all white dots, just where there is a white dot, those digits are consecutive. Where there's no dot, there's no information. Black dots mean that the digits are in a ratio of 2 to 1, or one is double the other. So 8 and 4 is the most common black dot, but there are a few others that you can find that we could do. And then these green lines are German Whispers, which means that adjacent digits on the German Whispers need to differ by at least 5. So, for example, if this was 7, these would both have to be from 1 or 2. There's no rules about repeating, so these could both be 1, they could both be 2, that would be fine. They just have to differ by at least 5. Alrighty, so that is it for the rules for this puzzle. So if you want to have a go at it again, the rules are in the description. Let's see what we want to do. So first of all, German Whispers have this property that I'm going to go ahead and mark, where you always alternate between a digit that's more than 5 and a digit that's less than 5. So there's a 1, 2. If there's a 1, 2, 3, 4, the next digit along the green line is a 6, 7, 8, 9. And if there's a 6, 7, 8, 9, the next digit's a 1, 2, 3, 4. Just because if you go at least 5 from one of these digits, you always end up here. If you go at least 5 from one of these digits, you always end up here. That's basically the whole story. Oops. Why do I keep doing that? I don't even know where that button is. Anyway, so that is this. I'm also going to go ahead and note there are some digits like these that are a little bit restricted. So maybe we should talk about digits and how restricted they are. So first of all, 5 can never go on a German Whisper because it's not 5 away from anything. So the 5 in this box is up here, and it's definitely not on a black dot. For what it's worth. 4 and 6 are also quite restricted on black dots. Or sorry, not on black dots. 4 and 6 are also quite restricted on green lines because they only go next to one thing. So for example, if this is a 6, these would both be 1s. That doesn't work either. So in fact, the 4 and the 6 in this box are also up here. So if something goes next to 2 things, then you know it's not those. These digits actually go next to 3 things, which is why my attention was drawn to them. So they can't even be 3 or 7 because 3 only goes next to 8 and 9. 7 only goes next to 1 and 2. So these are only from 1 to 8, 9 for what that is worth. Okay, these black dots are kind of interesting. That we do have this 6 long, what's basically a Renbon, but it's a Renbon in order. That is kind of interesting because it's going to put a long line of consecutive digits. Now, we could think about... sorry, let me say that differently. If I just think about this as a 6-long Renbon, then we know it's got a 4, 5, and 6 on it, which somewhat inconveniently is exactly the digits that we happen to know are on it just from the German Whisper. But we can actually do a little bit more with the fact that there's a 4, 5, and 6 on it, specifically in terms of where the 5 is going. Because if I put a 5 here, well, that's just not going to work because I'm not going to be able to put both the 4 and the 6 because I'm going to have to go either up or down, and I'm only going to go that way. And the same thing's going to happen if I put the 5 there. So actually, The 5 in this box is only in one of these two cells, which does definitely mean this digit's not a 4 or a 6. And also that these two digits aren't 4 or 6, because actually on a white dot, you switch parity between odd and even. And so the odd parity is definitely this one. So these aren't 4 or 6. One of these two is 5. So the 4 and 6 go in these cells. In particular, this digit's always a 4 or a 6, because one of these two is the 5. Now, that's useful because it at least tells me that these aren't 1 or 9 as I contemplate the nature and purpose of reality. These I know are 2, 4, 6, 8 for sure. As I contemplate that, I did mention I know this one's not 5. Now, let's see. I'm trying to think about how these colors interact with the yellow and purple. Because remember, 2 of these are bigger or 2 of these are smaller than 5. And so, yeah, so if this is the 5, then these 2 are purple and these 3 are yellow. If this is the 5, oh, if that's the 5, it doesn't work. I see. Okay, yeah, so we can do even one better. This can't be the 5 because if it is, these are either all high or all low, because we'd have to go up or down 4 from the 5, which would wipe out either the 1, 2, 3, and 4, or the 6, 7, 8, and 9, which we can't do. So actually, I know where the 5 is. It's actually there. So I know where the 4, 6 are, therefore. Namely, the 4, 6 are next to the 5. So we can get rid of those. And now, oops. Sorry, this is a 3, 7. I'll go ahead and mark this digit as green. One of these is a 3, the other is a 2 or 8. So I can go ahead and mark those as 2, 3, 8, just because of the digit that they black dot with being a 4 or a 6. And also, these digits are all the same color, and that color can't be purple, so it's yellow. And they're all the same color because I go one direction from 5. It's either up or down, and I just keep going. So actually, those have to be yellow. Those have to be purple. Okay, that is interesting. So this is the yellow 1, 9, because we've got sort of, if you think about it in the world, this is a somewhat useful perspective to have. I'm going to delete these in a second. I was writing them in. Sort of in a German Whispers puzzle, we've got sort of the 5 in the middle, and then there's some pairs of digits. So like the 4 and 6 behave very similarly, just backwards, and the 3 and 7, and the 2 and 8, and the 1 and 9. So in particular, there's always, in every row, column, and box, there's a yellow 4, 6, exactly 1, yellow 3, 7, a yellow 2, 8, and a yellow 1, 9. So that's how I handled that. So likewise, these are the purple 1, 9 and the purple 2, 8. Okay. That okay, so these two cells, that's the point. These two cells are purple. And the way I know that is that this 5 up here tells me that this pair of consecutive digits are both the same color because they're consecutive and they don't include a 5. So they're either both bigger than 5 or both smaller than 5. They can't both be bigger than 5 because... Sorry, they can't both be yellow because that would put 5 yellows in the column, so they're both purple. Also, I realized that I could have made this whole thing easier now because I can actually tell you which is high and which is low, because this cell, it's either by the column, it's either yellow 3, 7 or yellow 4, 6, but it can't be yellow 4, 6 because yellow 4, 6, remember 4 only goes next to 9, 6 only goes next to 1, so this is only the yellow 3, 7, but it's not a 7 because you can't double or halve 7 while maintaining your Sudokulality. So you would become a 14 or a 3.5. So in fact, this is a 3, which means that yellow, as it always is, turns out to be low, and purple turns out to be high. And so now we can fill in some more digits. So for example, that is a 6 and a 7 because it's got to be consecutive with the 6. This is a 1, 2, 3, 4. That's a 6 and a 7. These aren't 1 or 2. These are an 8, 9 pair next to the 3 because that's the only thing that goes next to a 3 in a German Whispers. None of these are high is kind of interesting. Let's see. Annoyingly, one of these can be a 4. Oh, I should probably fill in this 3 next to this 6. This 3 on a black dot, or sorry, the 6 on a black dot only goes with 3. So that means that this is 8 or 9 in orange. Means that these are all blue. So that's all the blues in the known universe. For this box specifically, I mean. I can corner mark a 7 over here, which is going to be cruel and unusual if I have to use, but I might. I do know this digit's orange, actually, because it sees every blue digit in the box and it sees 5 in the row. And so these digits, I know one of them is orange and one of them is blue, because that's how German Whispers work. So in particular, the last orange in the row is over here. So this digit's blue. And it's a 1 or a 2. Okay, this digit is a 1 or a 4. Actually, no, this digit is a 1. Because I have to put the 1 in box 3 in a blue cell, and I know where all the blue cells are. So this 1 actually tells me it's not in either of those blue cells, so it has to be there. And so these are a 2, 4 pair, which actually does make that a 3 while I'm at it. Because I now, oh, there we go. Okay, and I also, if I look at it closely, I actually know that this digit's orange. Because if you look at the row, I've got all the blue digits already. So that's orange, meaning these are all orange, and that's blue. So that digit, being a high digit that is in a 2-to-1 ratio with 4, must be 8. This isn't 8 or 9, so that is 9 over there. This I know is 6 or 7. This could be 9, who knows? I at least don't make any claims to know as of the moment. This digit is next to a 3 on a German Whisper, so it's either an 8 or a 9, but by Sudoku it's just a 9. Which actually, if you come back over here, now tells me this digit can't be a 4, because if this digit was a 4, that digit would have to be a 9, and it would clash in the row. So that's a 2, and that's a 4. It's not a 9 anymore. Okay, so these are either 1, 2, or 3, 6 are my options. 1, 2 would make that be an 8 and a 3 exactly. Oh, that doesn't work, but I don't know how much I want to use that. If this is a 1, 2, that has to be an 8, and that has to be a 3, which clashes with that. But that feels probably not what the lovely setters had in mind. This digit is just a 1. That will make it much clearer. Because this digit's a 1 or a 4, but remember a 4 would put 2 9s here. One of the 2 9s that we'd put in the same box would also clash in the row, so it would be a super problem. So that's a 1 and that's a 4, which means that's a 9 and that's a 9 and that's an 8, and an 8 and a 9. And now these can't be 1, 2 anymore because of the 1 in the box. By the way, that is a 2. This is a naked 1 because it's low and it sees 2, 3, and 4. This is a 7 because it's not a 6 because it's next to a 2 and it's not an 8 or a 9 by Sudoku. Okay, now this digit is orange because within the column we have all of the blues. So we can actually orange all of these, which means this is blue. So it's a 1 or a 2. I don't know which one yet. I do know that this is this digit is a 7, because remember, this is a 3-6 pair looking at this cell, so this actually is just a 7. That's now a 7 by Sudoku, because remember, we have a 7 corner marked here and a 7 here, so that's going to be a 7. This is now an 8, because it sees 6, 7, and 9. So this is now a 6 or a 9, I guess. Let's see, that is not an 8. Let's see. I see that this is a 7 by Sudoku because I have 4 7s looking into box 5. That one, that one, that one, and that one. So they just place that this digit is a 7. Let's see. I don't think I can quite do... Oh, I can. I can place the 7 in this box because I've got a 7 in row 7 and a 7 in row 9, and that's not a 7 because it's looking down. This we've already noted is not a 7, so this is. Now, that doesn't really help too much. This is a 6 or a 9. I'm just going to mark for my sanity. Okay. Let's see, this is a 2 or it's orange. Oh, okay, this can't be orange anymore. I was expecting this to work out like all the other ones, and maybe it would have if I did this better. But the way I did it, I now see that this isn't orange because the only orange digit available is a 6, and this digit can't be a 1, so this digit's blue. Which means all of these are blue, and this is orange. In particular, it is a 9. This is the last blue for the row, so it's 2. This is the last blue for a column, so it's a 4. And that, therefore, is a 3, sorting out my 1 and my 2 up here, which is disappointing because it doesn't resolve everything like I had kind of hoped. This row, by the way, we seem to have written in every orange except 7, so actually we now know where the 7 goes. So actually now that's the last 7 by Sudoku. This column does need a 6. This row needs a 3, which has to go there, I see. Let's see. These are a 5 and a 6, it looks like, for the row. I don't know how excited I am by that. 4, I see, looks down and across into this box, placing a 4 here. So that places a 4 in there somewhere. Sure does. Let's see. I've got a 1 and a 2 in here somewhere, and a 5 in here somewhere. Yeah. Okay, let's see. This 5, 6, I guess, I could write down. What does the 5, 6 go with? Well, it doesn't go with a 7 because there's a 7 in the box. It doesn't go with a 6 either because there's a 6 in the box. So it actually only goes with a 4 or a 5, which is the kind of thing that sounds like it would be useful. And I guess it's slightly useful in the following sense. That dot definitely has a 5 on it, and that actually places the 5 in row 3. Namely, that's now the 5, which now actually is going to do a lot. So that's going to make that the 6, that the 5, that the 4. And now this digit sees 5 and every blue digit, so it's orange, and is in fact a 6. That's a 9. I realize I could have also done it as the last digit in the row. That would have been more simple than the way I actually did it. This can be a 1 or a 2 still. No. Okay, one of these is an 8, and it's that one. The other is 5 for this box. Let's see. One of these is a 6, and the other is a 1, 2. Well, that one's not the 1, 2, so that one's the 6. That one's the 1, 2. This column still needs its 5, so it's there. Let's see. This is an 8. Let's see. We need a 4 over here, and it's there. And then a 6 here. Okay, 1, 2, 4 means this dot is 3, 6 for sure. There's 2 flavors of black dot. There's the 1, 2, 4, 8 flavor of which the only surviving digit is 8. So if I put an 8 on here, there would be nothing else. And the other flavor is just 3-6. So this one has to be the flavor that's just 3-6. And now this one isn't 3-6, so this one has to be 4-8 because it can't be 2, and so there can't be a 1 on it either. And so these are two digits that are next to each other from 4-8 and 3-6. So this one's even, so this one has to be odd, so it's the 3, and now that one has to be the 4, so that's the 8, and we can fill in that. Let's see, so there is 6 and the 3. There is the 1 and the 5 going in there. This digit's now orange because it sees 1, 3, 4 in the row and 2 and 5 in the column. So it's an 8 because it sees 6, 7, and 9. That was a very, very complicated way to say that cell is a naked single, by the way, if you were playing the home game. This is a 6 because this row needs a 6 and it can't go in the other spot because of that 6. And so now this is my blue 2. Let's see. This column still needs a 9, so that goes there by Sudoku, and still needs a 4, which is now going to go there. Let's see. The 1 in this box, I guess, still has 2 spots that are possible. That is a little bit annoying. I do see that 5 is placed in this box by Sudoku, which will place it in this box, which seems useful, which will then place it in this box, and that'll be the last 5, I think. There we go. So now that we've got all the 5s in the puzzle, we no longer have to worry about digits that are neither blue nor orange, and we can just color to our heart's content based on where we have all of the assorted digits, and so we can get that. So then we can fill in everything, because this digit now sees 2, 3, and 4, so it's a 1, which sorts out that box. It's a 2, so that's a 1 and a 3 and a 2 and an 8. Very nice puzzle there, very smooth. Really enjoyed that. I hope you also enjoyed it. Let me know your favorite part in the comments. Do leave a like on the video, and I'll see you next time on Invitation to Puzzles. Bye for now.